Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with the Cripple. I'm your host, the Cripple. No, I'm not really this tall. I'm just using a different apparatus for recording purposes. And today, instead of doing something savory like a meal, we're gonna do a dessert. We're gonna do a sweet, and we're gonna do my specialty cookies. You might notice that I've already got them already started and everything, but that's because my recording decided to just end when I told it not to. But anyways, enough about that. Today, you're going to put into the mixer 1.5 sticks of butter, and you're going to cream those very well. And you're going to cream them for exactly 20 minutes. That's what I do. That gives you a very sweet and not chewy cookie, but crumbly kind of. Like melty goodness. I'm sorry. And also, I'm sorry for being away in terms of recording, but I've been out of town for a couple of days, so I didn't really have a chance to record. But I've just added in a 3/4 cup of regular granulated sugar into the mixer, and you're going to mix that up for 5 minutes. You'll understand why in a little bit, but we're going to get that started. But here we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. To this mixture, sorry about that, I went a little gung-ho with the mixer. To that, you also want to scrape regularly. But here we go. There we go. And if you don't make a mess while baking, you're doing something wrong. Because the funnest part about baking is getting dirty. But to this mixture, we're going to add 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and we're going to mix it for 5 more minutes. Boom. Sorry, this is all new to me, but here we go. You know what? Just do that. There we go, there we go. There we go. And I will see you guys in 5 minutes. And that looks really good. So, I failed to mention that you're also going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract into the mixture. But next, we're going to beat in 2 large eggs. Well, 2 eggs, it doesn't really matter their size. But we're going to beat in 2 of them. Stay. Sorry, the camera stand is falling over because my neck started to get hurt. But here we go. Stay. Let's see if I can do this. Here we go. If the eggs explode on you a little bit, that's okay. Just wash your hands really thoroughly. But it'll be okay. But I'll see you guys in 5 more minutes. And whoa. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, here we go. Your batter should look pretty close to that. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry, the camera stand is in the way. There we go. But I'm going to add in the other egg, and I'll see you in another 5 minutes. Okay, now that we've properly incorporated the wet team, I've gone ahead and made the dry team, which consists of 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So you want to mix it up with a fork, as I have. Make it look nice like that. It should look like the cookie that you're going to make. Maybe it'll turn a little bit darker in the pan, but it shouldn't really be that much of a difference. But mine are, so. But, oh, I failed to mention at the beginning of this video, because my recordings were giving me such problems, that you're going to preheat your oven for 375. So go ahead and do that while I add in the dry ingredients. Now, you want to do this in 3 installments, and you want to go low and slow, otherwise you'll have a flour grenade in your kitchen. So that's not good. You want to go low and slow with this kind of thing. And once you get the 3rd installment in and it starts to look like batter, then you can crank up the speed and start mixing. Like properly mixing, not just putting them together, although I know that's mixing too, but I'm not good with my words tonight. But, alright, here we go. I'm going to add in the 1st installment, and then once it's all done and over with, remember how I said 20-20-20 is going to come back into this video? Well, you're going to also put this on for 20 minutes. No, just walk away. Just walk away. For 20 minutes, you want to mix this thing once you get that 3rd installment done. But, itchy nose. But as you can see, if you don't get messy, like I have, if you don't get messy in the kitchen, you're doing something wrong. But I'm going to show you the 1st installment. It's pretty simple. You just do this. Come on now, don't be mean. There you go. That's the 1st installment. And you mix it for about minute and a half on whatever your first speed. Whatever your first speed is, unless it's 0, then you might want to go to your 2nd speed. But you want to mix it on your lowest speed for about a minute and a half. And I know that messes up the 20-20-20, but I don't count those minutes. I count just the whole thing as a, whole. But, so we'll see you guys in a minute and a half, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. Okay, so this is what it should kind of look like on your 1st installment. But I'm not going to bother going through the 2nd and 3rd installment. I'm just going to go ahead and show you the final product. Well, not the final product, but the final product in terms of batter. So, and if it turns out a little soupy, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Mine is going to come out a little soupy. The recipe that I'm using, the first time I tried it, it came out a little soupy and a little smooth. So that's okay. And I'm sorry I'm looking off this way, because I'm used to the camera being over here, but sorry about that. But the recipe that I use a cookbook's recipe, but I make it my own by, it says beat it until well combined or something like that. And I really don't know what that means, so I just left it alone for 20 minutes on each stage, and then it turned out to be the best cookie in the world. And if you knew my mother, or know my mother, you would know that that's quite a compliment when it comes to baking or cooking. And wow, I'm wobbling all over the place. But in terms of baking and cooking, that is a very, very big compliment when she says that that is the best cookie she's ever eaten. So, if you can make it exactly how I make it, perfect. And again, I'm sorry I'm looking this way, but the camera's all wibbly wobbly. But we'll see you guys in about 3 minutes, and then I'll show you what the final product before the final product looks like. Kind of redundant, isn't it? But we'll see you guys in a minute. Oh, I almost forgot. This is only stage 2, or installment 2, but I almost forgot a trick that I've learned with these cookies in terms of the dry team. What you want to do is you want to get it as much off the beater as you can and into the bowl, but do not scrape the sides yet. Do not scrape the sides. You want to put the dry in the middle of that and then scrape the wet team over it, and it makes it mix so much easier, and plus you don't have that poof effect. So that's another neat trick that I've learned from years and years of baking and cooking with my mother. But it's kind of crooked. But that's just another thing you can do. You don't have that big explosion of dust in your face when you start mixing, because no matter how slow you mix it, you're gonna have that kind of unpleasant dust. So yeah, just remember, don't scrape the sides until you put in the dry, and then scrape the sides over the dry team. Okay, sorry, I just had to include that. I'll be right back. Okay, so we've mixed it. I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like super dark chocolate. And these cookies are actually called dark chocolate chip cookies. So here are the chocolate chips, and it says add in a cup, but I just do it by eyeball because that's just how I do things. That's how I roll. But if you really want to just go all out with the chocolate chips, that's fine by me. That's how you like your cookies. But it's really not an exact science. Hold on, I gotta use my other hand, which is holding down the stand. But here we go. But I'm just gonna add a bunch of cookies in, or chocolate chips. Sorry. And my mother, when she does chocolate chips in her cookies, she just mixes them once. I like to mix them to the point where, and I know that looked like a lot of shaking, but there's only that much cookies and there's a lot of dough, like a lot of dough. But this recipe right here, it can make, I think, 2, maybe 3 batches of 3 dozen cookies. Not 3 batches of 3 dozen cookies. I just made up the my mind goes faster than my mouth does. So I have to make noise or do something so that my mouth can catch up. But this can make 3 dozen cookies. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. But so I like to mix them till they're nice and melty. So I shall be back in like 30-40 seconds. But I don't know if you can see. If you can see it, you see how the chocolate chips have kind of incorporated themselves into the chocolatiness of the actual cookie? That's perfect. So I'm going to be right back. I have to do a few things before you see the final cookie. So I will be right back. Okay, so I'm currently preheating my oven and throwing my water cup on the floor. But here's what the cookies look like. They look really good, if you can see. Boom, 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 boom. Just to give you several cookies, by example. I don't know where my camera is pointing, to be totally honest. I don't know which cookie I'm looking at. But anyways, you can see I've got the oven going. But I will be right back. You are going to preheat your oven to 375, and then and I like to do the oven last because I do not like the idea of an oven running all that time. But that's another story. But so I will be right back when the oven's done. You're going to cook these things for 7 minutes, I believe. The consistency is new to me. Like, these cookies are like my mother's lasagna. It comes out different every single time I do it. So I really don't know how these are going to turn out. So I'll be right back when it's time to cook them. But 7 minutes if you like a really melty, good, like fresh out of the oven, amazing dippable chocolate chip cookie. 8 minutes if you want a really crunchy cookie. maybe 9 minutes, maybe. But I wouldn't go past 10, because 10 you're going into burn territory. So I will be right back. And yeah, I'll show you guys how these turned out. See you in a minute. But my cookies are done. So this is usually what they look like. I've never been able to shape these cookies, like make them look like anything other than just a circle. But it's still a little warm. But it's nice and melty in the center, just like I like it. It's crunchy on the outside and melty in the center. So good. Bit off more than I could chew. But anyways, this has been Cooking with the Cripple. I'm your host, the Cripple, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.